Hello, beautiful and beloved ones. This is Lorelei from the Tightrope to 5D Music Reactions, and welcome back, and Merry Christmas and Happy New Year and all of that good stuff for you. And by the way, if you're new and you wonder about that strange title, or even if you just want to stick around and hear this, I'm going to give you a special message at the end about this historic shift from third dimensional consciousness to fifth dimensional consciousness that's never happened before for an entire planet. But first, we're going to start with Alip doing the Godfather theme song. A very... It's such a distinctive song for the thoughts and the ideas it brings up for us. But isn't it beautiful? Isn't it beautiful? I actually never thought of how beautiful the actual melody is, especially the way he's playing it. It's quite a beautiful melody. And that's interesting. That's not something I expected. So this is really, of course, he could make it. I think he can make anything sound beautiful, this guy. By the way, don't forget, friends, that I now have some membership tiers, 3 different tiers, and you can go take a look at the little video I made about them to see if you're interested. I've been furiously putting videos up there for you for when you get there, so there should be a good stockpile. Okay, let's continue. Is taking some pretty complicated fingerings. As you can see, his one hand is up and down that neck there, and his other hand's coming up to pluck it. Wow, interesting. I mean, you know, when you hear this song, you can't help but think of the Godfather, you know, and the Italian mafia and all of that. And, you know, but when you really think of it, some of the most beautiful music came from Italy, like some of the Italian opera singers, extraordinary. I mean, they are very musically inclined. They give us beautiful music. So there's always the two sides to humanity, no matter what, you know. Every population has its two sides, you know. Give a comment, by the way, here. I just would love to know, does this look hard to you if you're guitar players or singers or whatever? Because it looks hard to me. Tell me how hard this is really on a scale, because it looks like it's quite hard to do. And by the way, don't forget, if you're enjoying this, give me a like, give him a like, and also subscribe. And his video is in the notes too, by the way. Let's continue. Right there, what he was doing with the fingering there. Did you see that? He's up here and he's, you know, and he's putting a lot of extra notes in there, I think, too. But let's go back and watch that again, because it's so extraordinary. He's up and he's down and everywhere. Oh my goodness. My goodness. Ah, that is actually a flat out beautiful song. And the way he played it, that's a flat out beautiful song. That poor composer, he got a bad rap when they began to use it for the Godfather movies, didn't he? Because that is gorgeous. It's absolutely gorgeous. My goodness. And I never realized how gorgeous it was until he just played it. Holy moly. That was just beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. Oh my. Now we have to put this on my scale. One being very third dimensional, fear, pain, sadness, anger. It's not that in this way he did it. The actual, what it conjures up maybe that, but the way he did it was more like harmony, bliss, joy, peace, all of that. So beautiful. Beauty is up there in the fifth dimension. That number 10 is, one being third dimensional, 10 being very fifth dimensional. Beauty is up there. But then again, the song does conjure up the thoughts of that because that's what we associate it with, the thoughts of, the mafia or whatever. So it's a hard one because it sounds so beautiful. It feels good the way it sounds. It feels so beautiful the way he plays it. But the what it conjures up in your head can be a little negative. So, I would have gone very high in the 9s if it wasn't conjuring that up in my head. So given the fact that it is, I think we have to go. Even so, it's very beautiful and beautifully done. I'm going to go with an 8 on this one as to how it pulls us toward the higher dimensions, not based on the words, but just the sound of it and how he did it. Wow. Gorgeous. And that, by the way, is not how great he did it. If you want to talk about how great he did it, separate and apart from everything, that's off of the scale. He did such a beautiful job on that. But it just really pulls you higher when you listen to that. And I'm surprised because I did not expect that. I expected it would pull me lower because of everything it conjures up. But it was so beautiful, wasn't it? Oh my goodness. Absolutely love Alip. He can take a song that has a really bad rap and make it gorgeous and make you love it, right? Not that I didn't like it, but I always just thought of it as that mafia song, Wow. How great was that? Oh, by the way, beautiful ones, if you'd like to know a little bit about me, you can go to the About Me video here on this channel, which leads you to a little longer video about what I call my Forged in the Fire journey of third-dimensional reality, especially when I was younger. And also, if you want to hear about, see some of the things I've created that might be of interest to you, you can go to the About Lorelei page on Patreon, which is in the notes. The link is in the notes. And by the way, do take a look at my video because it does help me. Because if it doesn't have many views, that About Lorelei video or About Me video, the one after it's getting a bad rap because YouTube won't push it out, So help me out a little bit on that if you just even take a quick look. And I hope you look longer. But okay, let's talk about our fifth dimensional message. What has been the true value of our stories in 5D? Our stories, I'm talking about every single story, whether it be a story that is given in a movie, whether it's a story that's written in a book, whether it's a story in a song, whether it's a story that is handed down, by generations, that is told over and over again. What has been the value of our stories in third dimensional life? You see, given that we all came from the great creator as divine sparks of God, and we came to experience not being that as a sort of game, because after millions of years of being that, it got kind of boring to those higher beings and everything, and they wanted a way to experience not that as a sort of game. So they came down here to this physical, or I should say, had aspects of themselves come to this physical reality to experience as if they were not actually at a core those higher beings, you see? And then those aspects could walk around and experience these lives, and they could get an understanding of the negative experiences, but also get an actual feeling experience of the positive. Now, they could also get a feeling experience of the negative, but they wouldn't because they're too high vibrational and they would not want to, right? But they could get an understanding, a conceptualization of that, just to more understanding being such a valuable thing, right? So the whole the core, the gold, what they wanted here was experience. They wanted experience to actually, in concrete reality, experience these things in some way, shape, or form. And for us, as their aspects, to experience these lives and all that's encompassed in those. So what are stories? Stories are what is given to us, the understanding, the knowing of the experiences. You see, the experiences are so unbelievably precious. In fact, people wait in line and have historically, I say people, but I mean higher individuals, have waited in line to have their aspects come to this earth for the sheer experience, the third dimensional experience of it. And the stories are telling us of the experience, you see. And this is so very valuable for a couple of reasons. First of all, because it's if I'm living this life here, but I can watch thousands of different stories, I get like a much, much richer experience of my life, don't I? Because I get to sort of at least somewhat understand all these other experiences. This is why I was a voracious reader as a child. I just read and read and read. I mean, big, huge books, big, fat chapter books by the age of like 8 and 9. And I was just blowing through them. Some of them were set in the late 1800s because my mom, that's what her books were. And she was an avid reader. And that's what she read as a child. And so here I was reading voraciously these like 1800s and early 1900s books, with a whole different vocabulary. So I cultivated a whole different vocabulary, but I just couldn't get enough of the stories because they're literally the gold. They're literally a holy thing, those stories, because you get to experience not just your life, but the lives of others as it's told in a book, in a movie, even handed down like the Native Americans do. This is like a holy thing. It really is. Our stories are kind of a holy thing. They're kind of a gold. They're kind of why we came here. And there were the two types of stories, and some were like the hero's journey type of stories. And those were very powerful because they gave us the hope, and they gave us something to, in this kind of sometimes dark life or dark existence, they gave us something to hope for, something to dream of, something to, look up to, if you will. And then there were the darker stories like this one here we're talking about. And that one is also valuable because it tells us, I don't really want that. I don't mind reading it in a story in a book, or watching a movie, but don't put that in my life because I don't want that in my life. You see, it gave us an understanding of what we did want and what we didn't want. And in fact, to have to portray some of these roles that actually did come true here in concrete space and time, such as those people in the mafia or whatever, some of those beings were coming from the higher beings literally to play a role for us so we could learn from them. They weren't that at all, and they didn't want to come here. They didn't maybe even need more experience. Maybe they had all they needed, but they wanted to come as a contribution to us. I don't mean any particular person in the mafia or in any of these negative groups that they have out there in the world, but some of them at least were coming to actually literally play the bad guy so we could all learn from it. How amazing is that? And we don't really know who out there is playing the bad guy and who really is, having that. Everybody's really playing it, but who actually actively came here to play it, not really needing to, and those who just got swooped up in this reality and are in that situation now. We don't know who's what, right? So that's another reason where we don't really want to go around judging other people. It's hard not to do when you see some of those terrible things happening in the world, but we don't know who's playing a role and who's being in that role as a contribution to us. So these stories, historically speaking, through the ages, hundreds and hundreds and thousands of years, these stories are what has literally kept us going. Because we could not only experience this life, but we could experience others' lives through the stories of them. Even the Bible, a great storybook, and all of the great religious books, storybooks telling us the stories. Except that, moving into the fifth dimension, we're kind of old. They're getting a little old. Because stories are simply that. They're just a story. In fact, your entire life is just a story. All those books, they're just stories. You see, they're not actually who you really are. See, that's what we're now going for. Like, we got tired of all these stories and we want to get out of the book. We want to stop being the one in the book and be the one that's reading the book, or I should say even better, stop being the one in the computer game and be the one outside of the computer game. That's who we really are. We're really the higher being outside of the computer game. And we want to drag ourselves out of it. We're done with the stories. We're kind of tired of them now. Okay, we've done it. They've been so valuable, so extremely valuable for this entire third dimensional experience. But now we're done with the third dimensional experience and we want to go to the fifth dimensional experience. And now, as we focus on our stories here and now, in this moment now, then they could be a little more pulling us back, because they make us forget that we are, in fact, that they are stories, and that our entire life is a story. It's not even the true who we are, right? It's really not even a representation of who we are, our story of this life. Our stories of this life nowadays, they just hold us back from getting to the higher levels. And that's always been true as well. So the stories had, a positive and a negative effect in many ways, right? Through the ages, right? They, on one hand, they were inspiring us and having us get a better understanding and what we want, what we don't want. And the other hand, they were sticking us in this role. And like this role was real, like this little teeny role we're playing here was real. And historically speaking, it had to be that way because we weren't moving to the fifth dimension. But now it's time to let the stories go. They have been so valuable, so wonderful, so beautiful. But now it's time to let all of our stories go. And this is one of the reasons, by the way, I'm not reading so many books anymore. I don't watch as many movies as I used to. If I'm going to watch a movie, it's going to be something uplifting, something fun, something happy, something joyful. Christmas movies, And yeah, they may have a little bit of a sad undertone to them at times, but I don't watch the other ones because I don't want to once again be swooped up in thinking the stories are real in any way, shape, or form, which you can't help it if you watch so many of these stories. So the dark ones I stick away from forever, also because of the power of our consciousness to bring forth what we want. We want to put our focus on the loving, the joyful, the fun, the fifth dimensional, so we can bring that forth. So, but yet we give great honor and great love to the stories we have. So many stories we have listened to and watched through the ages. Okay, beloved ones, I am going to send you that beautiful fifth dimensional energy, the love, the peace, the joy, the bliss, the knowing, like you know that you're not in the story. You're the one outside, right? You're the one who thought it up, who dreamed it up. Okay, these are coming at you now. Namaste. I honor the God in you.